Profs, and welcome to the second episode of BTV for the 2018-19 year. My name is Trevor, and I'm here with your updates on the events going on here at Southeast High. Have your rights to vote been on your mind? Have you been assigned Station 11 by your English teacher? Well, stay put and you'll learn more on this episode of BTV. Although some may be wondering how our school is seen, others are focused on seeing themselves out of the school. In particular, the seniors of Southeast have been signing up for pass cards, and reporter Dylan dug deeper to find out more about these get-out-of-class free cards. Here's Dylan with more information.
As we come to a close end to the first semester, seniors are signing up for pass cards. But what are pass cards?
Well, pass card basically means you can leave school if you have a class that you don't, other than the classes you need for graduation.
And having pass cards give many advantages to the seniors here at Southeast.
Well, I'll have more time in my day. I can focus on things that I want to do, like my hobbies, and then I can just focus on my other AP classes.
Well, I felt like it was giving me an opportunity to go to college and studying for classes that I really need studying for.
How many classes in total did you drop?
I would say about 5 classes I dropped.
So how do seniors apply for a pass card? What's their first step? Where do they go? And what do they do?
First thing to do would make an appointment with your counselor, and then they'll review the transcripts and look at the classes you have, look at the classes you need, and then maybe look at what might work for you to take, what classes could be removed if that's possible.
However, having a pass card does come with some responsibilities.
When you have a pass card, you're not supposed to be hanging around in the cafeteria or the gym, just be off campus, or some people go to their car and go to lunch, whatever that might be.
For BTV, I'm Dylan R.
Thank you, Dylan, for that information. Juniors, now that you know that pass cards are far from free, you may want to consider partaking in that next year. And seniors who signed up for pass cards, enjoy your time off. Recently here at Southeast, we had award-winning author Emily St. John Mandel visit Southeast to talk about her 2014 novel, Station 11. Many English 2 students are familiar with the novel Station 11, the Big Read Selection of 2018, but these students were given an opportunity of a lifetime to meet the author, Emily St. John Mandel. Why is she here? Well, her book being selected for the National Endowment for the Arts Big Read list has brought her to Wichita, and is not her first time visiting a community as a part of the program.
I've done similar events in a few other communities over the last couple of years, and it's really an honor and a privilege to be a part of the program.
We had another visitor here at Southeast in October, local politician Jim Ward, who talked local politics to our students and encouraged them to go out and vote. Jim Ward was one of the several local politicians present at an educational rally here in Wichita. Here is reporter Miera to tell us more.
What I hear a lot of times is, well, it doesn't affect me. Well, it does.
In today's society, very few teens participate in voting, which makes it harder for their voices to be heard and for the things they want to matter. Only around 15% of teens votes compared to the 55% of people 60 and over.
People that are going out to vote are oftentimes in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they tend to look in the past. They don't look to the future quite as much. And it's just important for the younger kids to have a voice in what's going to happen, because it's going to greatly affect what they're going to be doing the rest of their lives.
It's important for teens to take part in voting because teens have different priorities and care about different things than older generations.
It's critical. Young people change the conversation. Expands the number of issues we talk about. When they participate, the issues change.
It's important to pay attention to politics because it affects everyone. Politicians decide how much money we pay in taxes and also decide how to fund things like health care, tuition for college, education, and military defense.
There's just so many things that can affect a young person because of the decisions that a legislator makes. If they're not involved in it, they really don't have any right to complain. The world is changing, and we need our younger people involved in that so that they can tell us, okay, this is how it's going to affect them. And then we as leaders that are elected need to listen.
If you want your voice to be heard, then get registered when you turn 18. For BTV, this is Miera Robinson.
Thank you, Miera, for helping us understand local politics. And those of you who are interested in getting involved politically, teens can register to vote in Kansas once they hit 18. Other events outside of Southeast include the Hackathon. In October, students traveled up to K-State to partake in this 36-hour experience, and BTV reporter Kirito can tell us more about this competition.
On October 26th, 20 Southeast students got on the bus towards Kansas State University in order to attend the hackathon. But what is the hackathon?
A hackathon is a problem-based project going over broad concepts, trying to develop something in a program standpoint to solve a concept.
In the hackathon, there were some criteria that K-State made for the projects. Students completed in several different types of activities.
Hackathons have like certain criteria because some hackathons like they want you to make it so you have a program about like gaming or something like that. But most hackathons are like very generic, like things where you can basically do anything as long as basically mostly like it involves technology.
During the hackathon, students saw very interesting projects made by other participants.
Some pretty interesting stuff like playing Guitar Hero with just your hands, no guitar needed. An Etch-a-Sketch drawing its own pictures, and a bunch of other games.
The hackathon looks promising. Even students without a lot of technology experience had fun.
There are a lot of people, when I was looking at the previous submissions, there are a lot of people that actually just learned like a language. They're just like, oh, I just looked up and learned it.
After arriving from the hackathon, Mr. Lewis plans on incorporating what they learned at the competition into his classes.
I have found ways to incorporate a hackathon into my classroom. In my advanced computer programming class and our game design class, we're actually doing some of the concept ideas from the hack, and we're doing a mini hack as a final project for the last 9 weeks of our semester.
Thanks, Kirito. Some of you may be inspired now to take up a computer language and join the hacking hijinks next year. You don't have to travel as far as K-State if you're interested in programming, engineering, and getting creative with friends. Southeast's best robotics team offers plenty for the aspiring engineer. The Robotics Club recently competed in the Kansas Best Robotics competition at WSU. The Robotics Club met after school for a few weeks to build their robot. They ended up with a robot made out of wood with a claw at the end to pick up trash.
It was like 4 or 5 games. In each of the games, we basically had to grab as much trash as we can.
There were a couple of problems with the robot that caused the claw not to work, but despite the technical difficulties, the Robotics Club placed 9th out of 31 contestants. It seems the robotics team has had a busy season, but they're not done yet. Off-season work in preparation for the next season opens up the opportunity for those of you who are interested in joining to talk to Mr. Ogbuzio in room F106. But a couple doors down from the robotics team is Miss Jeffrey's pottery class. Reporter Shaylin observed as they molded and shaped their way through class, and here she is with more information.
Right now we're working on this graffito house. We looked at an artist called Dohoso.
The class is pottery, and the teacher's name is Miss Jeffries. Right now, they're working on graffito houses.
And so they're making their own homes, and they're drawing images onto the surface of the clay to communicate what they want their home to be or what it currently is.
They work on other things in the class as well, like how to make clay, and that some things take longer than others.
If you're working larger, it'll take longer. If it's smaller, it'll take shorter. If a week to make and bisque fire, and then maybe another week to glaze fire. So 2 weeks maybe.
Kids like it because it allows them to be creative and use their hands to create.
Pottery is a good way to practice my creative skills and just be able to work with my hands. It's a fun thing to do.
There are a lot of necessary skills when it comes to pottery, like time management skills, having to be able to work with the clay and not stress it out, awareness and mindfulness of what you're doing, you're working on.
Some basic life skills of how to use tools, how to create templates, how to do measuring, reinforces some of your geometry that you learn in your high school class.
If you like pottery or to create things with your hands, then you should consider signing up for the class. For BTV, I'm Shaylin Turner.
Thank you, Shaylin, for the glance into the ongoings of the Fine Arts Department. Up next, sports here at Southeast, presented by Xander Shaw. Take it away, Xander.
Hi, Bub. Xander Shaw here with your final sports update of 2018. The boys basketball team has had a great start with their 2018-2019 season, with the first night win against East with the final score of 65-59, with some of the top performers in the team being Jackie Johnson with 23 points and 3 assists, Johnny Murdoch with 12 points and 5 assists, and Rowan Smith with 14 points and 2 assists. They also won another game against Bishop Carroll just by 1 point with a final minute score at 56-55. The team has big goals this year. One of their goals this year is to win state. This year's team is going to be one to look out for on the scoreboards. Girls basketball has also been off to a great start this year, winning yet again also against East 64-41. Some of their top performers in that game were Gina DeFazio with 14 points and 4 rebounds, and Shariah Daniels with 12 points, and Indea Donnell with 11 points, and Diogene Adams with 10 points. The game was great. They won by 20 points, even though the last 2 years they have lost to East by 1 point. This year they are on track to be very good. In the first wrestling competition, Southeast did great. 16 out of 22 wrestlers placed. Wrestling's first JV tournament turned out great. They scored 48-21. Samuel Bryant, Eleanor Breen, Simon Nottingham, and Michael Burrell were some of the top performers on the team. Swimming has also been doing great. Just recently, they placed second out of 11 places. Keep up the good work. Football season's over, winning 2 games their entire season. Here's Braxton with more information.
Our football team ended the season with a record of 2-7 with wins over Northern Liberal. Although we only had 2 wins this season, Coach Dobbins acknowledges that the team has improved in comparison to previous seasons and have potential for upcoming seasons.
You've always want more wins than you've ended with. It's always nice to win, but this year was the first year in 5 years we've had a multiple win season. I believe this is the first time in 7, 8 years that we've beaten a team outside of Wichita. So those 2 accolades are pretty nice, something that not hanging your hat on, but to be proud of.
There are many players returning from the 2018-2019 season. Coach Dobbs is prepared for that by giving younger athletes the opportunity to adapt to the varsity level.
I believe we're going to have a lot of good starting returners. We're going to be heavy-ended in our junior class. Our junior class is going to be pretty well due to the fact that we kind of threw them to the wolves this year with starting as sophomores.
Although Coach Dobbs isn't returning next year, he is still willing to put in the time with the athletes to help our program progress overall.
You know, I love Southeast. The program is going in the right direction. We just got to put in the work in the off season to keep it going in the same direction.
Hopefully, we continue to move the program in the right direction. For BTV, I'm Braxton Davis.
Volleyball has wrapped up their best season in years. Here's Gina with more information.
Our record was 21-17, which is the best it's been in a few years. In tournaments, we placed first in our tournament and third in the Liberal tournament, and we got second at Sub-State.
These are a few reasons why Southeast had such a successful season. Last year, the team did not place in the top 3 tournaments. This team has improved and grew a lot from the past years.
That they liked each other, they were ready to push each other, and in other words, they wanted to win.
Summer conditioning and team bonding played a big factor in building toward a successful season.
I'm gonna miss just being a part of like a high school sport since I go to Northeast and that's separate. And so, I don't know, just the atmosphere and the relationships I've created the past 4 years that I've been a part of the varsity team and just like growing as a player and watching the Southeast volleyball team grow as well has just been really cool.
Be sure to sign up for the team next year if you'd like to help keep the winning going. From BTV, I'm Gina DeFazio.
All right, Buffs, this is the end of your monthly sports update.
Thank you for that update, Xander. And that brings this episode of BTV to a close as we head out for the holidays. You'll see us again in the next semester, but in the meantime, here are some sights and sounds from the Winter Sports Assembly. This is Trevor from BTV checking out. Stay festive and enjoy your break, Buffs.